Hello, welcome to Too Many Books. My name is Sean, and today we have one of those rare cemetery dance unboxings. It has been a year since my last one. Last time I did one of these was quite literally a year ago. I think it was January 24th of 2024, and it featured all of the 2023 titles. So here, my friends, is a big old book haul from Cemetery Dance, my good old annual Cemetery Dance book haul, this time featuring the 2024 titles. Now, unfortunately, these boxes have gotten smaller over the years. I did one several years back that had a huge haul of books in it. And I think last year was 5 titles. This year is 4. Which is disappointing, to say the least, but, you know, it's better than 0. So anyways, this is not to say that this is all Cemetery Dance has published in that time. This is just the limited editions and hardcovers that they've published in the past year. Their paperback line has actually been just absolutely flourishing, cranking out title after title. So this, my friends, are the 4 hardcovers and or limited editions that Cemetery Dance has published over the course of 2024. Fingers crossed for a better 2025. So, what are we starting off with? Let's start off with Caretakers by Tabitha King. This one is unfortunately sold out, so you have to go to the secondary market if you want a copy for yourself. This, I believe, is artwork by Caniglia. Caniglia did do the artwork for this one. Fantastic. I did read the synopsis for this one, and I am ashamed to say that I don't remember the synopsis that I just read like 5 minutes ago. That's probably not a good sign for the novel itself. Kind of middle of the road, I suppose. I believe this is some characters, Tori Christopher and Joe Nevers, kind of crossing paths and an intersection between their lives. I hate to say it. I think Tabitha King, I've never read any Tabitha King, but I get the feeling that she's only really an author or a published author due to her husband, a man by the name of Stephen King. Now, that I cannot say that personally. That's just what I've heard. But there is Tabitha King's very, very small signature. She didn't want to obstruct the artwork here, even though the artwork did have a very nice signing area on the forehead there, the side of the head. This is number 160, which is my number for as many numbered editions as I can get for Cemetery Dance. It was limited to 750 copies. I don't believe there's interior artwork. I actually did an entire video for Caretakers because I had received a second copy. Oh, there is interior artwork. No, it's not. It's just part 1, part 2. But if you want a copy of Caretakers, you have to go to the secondary market. But I don't believe Tabitha King's novels fetch a pretty penny on the secondary market. I wish it happened. I want all authors to have the best success, but I don't think you're going to have a difficult time finding that one. Up next, we have Little Boy by James Cooper. This is one I'm very excited about. This has artwork by the good old Francois Vaillancourt, which, you always love some good Francois artwork. A little Francois Friday, although this is not Friday, but, if you watch this video on a Friday, it can be a Francois Friday. Just beautiful artwork right there. Little Boy, of course, as I knock my dongle out of place, pardon me. Little Boy, of course, referring to the first atom bomb dropped on Hiroshima. I'm liking the spine on this. This actually feels like a different kind of, it's cloth binding, but it feels like a different style than their usual titles. It doesn't have it has a more prominent, rounded spine than their books usually do. James Cooper, British author, but this novel in particular, which is a coming-of-age story about 2 young boys who go on a adventure one fateful summer, signed by Cooper, numbered 160 out of 500, is still available. But it's getting a lot of praise and a lot of comparisons to Ray Bradbury and Robert McCammon. Right there, McCammon's Boy's Life, Bradbury, a little bit of Mark Twain. Fans of Bradbury and McCammon won't want to miss this one by Ian Rogers. That's high praise indeed. I like a good coming-of-age story, so I am very excited to dive into this one. I don't know that I've read any James Cooper. I know I have several James Cooper titles that have been published, some by Cemetery Dance. He had a collection that received a graveyard edition from Cemetery Dance just a few years ago. I think I might have that on my channel. Nice little leather-bound editions. I love those graveyard editions. I'm really hoping they are able to knock some more out this year, because there were none in 2024, which is a damn shame. They had two the prior year. One was a Bentley Little title, and one was a Paul Tremblay title. Speaking of Bentley Little, our third volume, this one is not signed. This is just a good old trade edition. This is Behind by Bentley Little, not to be confused with The Behind, which is a haunted Sir Mix-a-Lot song. This Behind, which kind of breaks tradition from Bentley Little's normal naming structure, but he's been doing that lately. I mean, there's always been some novels that break tradition. DMV was his most latest. Gloria prior to that. Both of those broke tradition, but I mean, even back in the 90s, he had Dispatch, and I know The House, which was originally called Houses, in the UK maybe? I don't know, I think it was The House in the United States, but, you know, there are some that break tradition, and lately he has been doing that. This actually sounds different than the normal Bentley Little formula. By the way, the artwork here is Elderlemon design, also known as Keelan Patrick Burke, so that's pretty cool. This is just a regular trade hardcover, nothing too fancy about it. I mean, it's still a little bit fancier than any trade hardcovers you might find in, you know, the big box stores, but it's not quite like the cloth bound. I mean, it feels like almost papery cloth. I mean, I guess they are calling it cloth because, you know, you can see kind of the fabric there, but it's almost papery in a way. It's not fancy over the top cloth. You get better quality with some of the other titles here. But anyways, Behind this is just a regular trade edition. Theoretically, they're going to do a limited edition. I know for all of the previous titles, the previous Bentley Little ones, they've said they're going to do limited editions through the Graveyard line. But the Graveyard editions are, you know, they're going at the pace that Cemetery Dance has been going lately, which is slow and steady. You know, that they're still getting the titles out. The stand is supposedly around the corner. I know they have the dummy books. They moved on. I should say they don't even just have the dummy books. They have the physical books for the stand now. They're waiting for the tray cases and slip cases to be done for that. But my understanding is that when Behind does get a signed edition, it'll be a Graveyard edition. But that might be many years out. Who's to say? But Behind deals with he was a young boy, and he was the only one that was able to see this creepy haunted house behind his house, hence Behind. And now he is a full-grown adult, and suddenly he begins seeing the house again. It kind of looks like it sounds like it's breaking tradition. It's not really following that classic Bentley Little formula, and I am all for that. I'm excited to dive in and give that one a read. But last and certainly not least, we have So Cold the River by Michael Koryta. This is obviously a larger trim size compared to the other titles. The other titles, you know, that's just a matter of perspective that's making them appear that large in camera. This is the same trim size as, was it The River? No, it was The Prophet. The Prophet and Those Who Wish Me Dead. The So Cold the River, I actually had an arc for this one. I had an arc for this one for several years, waiting for this to be, you know, physically done. And here it finally is. This artwork is by Tomislav Tikulin, who I believe, did the artwork for... Did he do the artwork for both the other ones? I know he did it for The Prophet. But I don't think he did it for Those Who Wish Me Dead. Maybe he did, though. It's been a couple of years since I've gotten that one. And, of course, this is a signed edition, signed by Michael Koryta there, who apparently does his whole initials. Number 160 out of 598. 598 is such a weird number. I was going to say, usually it's like you get like 574, and then you have 26 lettered copies, and it all comes out to be... I guess it makes sense. There's 52 lettered copies, so it's going to be 650 copies total. But I don't believe it even has a copyright date of 2023. I don't believe it actually came out in 2023. I believe it didn't actually hit people's doors until 2024. At least it didn't hit mine until 2025, but that is what it is. But anyways, Cemetery Dance is actually doing a bunch of Koryta's novels. And Koryta, if you like him, you should check out Scott Carson, who is actually just Michael Koryta writing horror novels. I believe Michael Koryta is more of like a crime thriller kind of situation. Scott Carson, more supernatural horror elements. But the Scott Carson novels, at least, I only know of 2 of them. I don't know how many he's written, but he's had Where They Wait, and what was the other one? There was another one that was done by Levidian Publications, which is a publisher publisher that was started by Brian James Freeman, formerly of Cemetery Dance. So anyway, So Cold the River, I believe, has to do with a reporter, or I don't know if he's necessarily a reporter, but a man is hired to document a mysterious, wealthy gentleman's life, and he goes back to this man's town, and chaos ensues. So anyways, that, my friends, are the 4... Copies of this are still available, too, I should say. So of the 4 titles here, 3 of them are still available directly through Cemetery Dance. We have So Called the River being still available. You have Behind, which is just, like I said, a trade edition, but still available. And you have Little Boy by James Cooper, also still available. Caretakers, which is a limited edition as well. You have to go to the secondary market if you want to find a copy for yourself. So yeah, I mean, it is a little disappointing that it's only 4 titles as their hardcover output. I would love to buy some of their paperbacks as well, but I have too many other damn books. That's hence the name of the channel. So, having too many books, not enough room for the paperbacks as well. I have room in my heart, but not my shelves. So anyways, one day Cemetery Dance is going to really hopefully kick back into gear and start pushing out the hardcovers. I know Dan Franklin has been talking about them making good progress on a couple of the backlogged titles, which, fingers crossed that 2025 is their year. Cemetery Dance, I mean, they do have pretty bad reputation these days for taking forever for their titles to come out. A lot of people place the blame on Richard Chismar, who recently has been seemed to focus more on his publishing and his own writing, but that's what other people's theories are, not my own. We're just I'm going with the flow. I don't want to, I want to support these small presses as much as I can. I wish that, they all put out the same number of quality books every year, but sometimes you only get 4 books, Sometimes it is what it is. But anyways, I do have some exciting titles on the horizon. I know, like I said, The Stand by Stephen King, hopefully shipping very soon. Pet Cemetery by Stephen King, probably not this year, probably next year, if not the following year. Fingers crossed that, like I said, they really kick into overdrive and start playing catch up on these, especially with the graveyard editions. I love those graveyard editions. I have a bunch of those on the channel that you should check out. Such as Ronald Malfi, Bentley Little, as I mentioned, Paul Tremblay. Lots of great authors through that. So like I said, fingers crossed for a better year for Cemetery Dance. Yeah, I mean, they actually just announced another Stephen King title, which I'm sure is going to get a lot of flack. So the Gwendy trilogy has received a lot of flack, which was Cemetery Dance had done, and they're doing a new Gwendy omnibus, which is getting a trade edition, all 3 volumes in 1 volume. And Cemetery Dance just announced they're doing their own edition of the Gwendy omnibus in 3 editions: the artist edition, a numbered edition, and a lettered edition. Lettered and numbered are both signed by Richard Chizmar and Stephen King. So, I mean, that's still pretty cool, having a Stephen King signature, right? You know, that can't be too bad. But I don't know when that'll be. We're still waiting on... We only just got the numbered edition of Gwendy's Magic Feather recently. The lettered edition for Gwendy's Magic Feather still hasn't come out. And we're still waiting on both editions of Gwendy's Final Task, other than the trade edition. We're still waiting on the numbered and lettered edition. So that was a title from 2022. Here we are in 2025. They announced it. So, you might be waiting a little while. I do have faith that you will get your book. You just need to wait possibly several years. But, I mean, I know some people don't want to wait those several years, so I totally understand. Meanwhile, I, as the channel suggests, have too many books, lots of books to read, so I as long as I get the books, I'll be reading these other piles, I'll be reading the other stacks. That's my way of looking at it. But anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel. I do at least 1 book review a week, plus plenty of unboxing videos here. I will continue to do Cemetery Dance unboxings as long as I receive them. I buy all their books, and I have a kind of a deal with them, buying their books in bulk, and they ship them to me in bulk. So, it's been kind of a 1-a-year thing these past few years. It used to be, several times a year as the books came out. And because of how it's slowed down, now it's kind of 1 a year, which is kind of a shame. But, hey, it's going to be our yearly Cemetery Dance video where I showcase all of the books in this past year. Like I said, fingers crossed that next year we have more titles to show you. So anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Check out these books. Like I said, check out Little Boy. That sounds awesome. I will do a book. This one's going to be the one I read first of these 4. Just because I like the Bradbury McCammon comparisons. Is that part of the printing? It must be. I was going to say, it's not really, it's a defect, I should say, but it's not like it's textured on it. But anyways, thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you around next time.